Scene opens with abstract, minimalist ink sketches flowing across the screen. Lines bleed into one another, forming shapes that suggest both a soaring eagle and a shadowy predator. Stark, bold text fades in. Text overlay, the dark side of American power. The screen transitions to a rapid montage of black and white archival footage. A mushroom cloud billows silently, followed by grainy images of soldiers in dense jungles, and maps with arrows indicating covert movements. The ink sketch motif returns, drawing over the footage to highlight hidden connections and unseen forces. In the aftermath of global conflict, a new kind of power began to consolidate, one defined not only by its ideals, but by the shadows it cast. The post-war era saw the United States emerge as a dominant force, promising a world of freedom and democracy. Yet this promise was often pursued through the corridors of clandestine operations and the battlefields of proxy wars. From the jungles of Southeast Asia to the mountains of Afghanistan, American influence was asserted, often at a great human cost. The Cold War doctrine of containment justified interventions in nations across Latin America and the Middle East, toppling governments and supporting regimes that served strategic interests, leaving a complex and often bloody legacy of political manipulation that echoes to this day. The visuals shift to sleek modern imagery. Data streams representing global financial markets flow across the screen, converging on Wall Street. Animated graphics show trade routes wrapping around the globe, controlled by American-based multinational corporations. The scene then cuts to stark photos of empty store shelves and struggling families in sanctioned countries. Beyond the battlefield, a more subtle but no less potent form of dominance took hold. American economic power became an unparalleled tool of global influence, shaping the world through institutions like the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. The dollar reigns supreme, and with it, the ability to grant prosperity or impose crippling hardship. Economic sanctions, wielded as a primary instrument of foreign policy, can destabilize entire nations, impacting the lives of ordinary citizens far removed from the centers of power. This financial architecture ensures that American corporate and state interests remain deeply embedded in the fabric of the global economy, creating dependencies that are difficult, if not impossible, to untangle. The camera pans across unsettling domestic scenes. The cold, impersonal lens of a surveillance camera is juxtaposed with passionate faces at a protest. We see visual metaphors for inequality. A lavishly set table on one side of a starkly divided room, a crumbling school on the other. Ink lines return, weaving a web over a map of the United States, connecting centers of power to marginalized communities. This projection of power abroad has often been mirrored by profound challenges at home. The very tools developed for foreign surveillance and control have, at times, been turned inward, raising critical questions about civil liberties and the right to privacy in an age of mass data collection. Deep-seated societal divisions, fueled by systemic inequalities and historical injustices, continue to test the nation's founding principles. The tension between national security and individual freedom, between the ideal of equality and the reality of disparity, creates a landscape of internal conflict that is as complex as any foreign entanglement. A montage of diverse faces from around the world appears on screen. An African farmer, a European student, a Middle Eastern shopkeeper, each looks directly at the camera, their expressions a mixture of hope, resentment, admiration, and fear. The visuals intercut with iconic American symbols, sometimes celebrated, sometimes burning. Globally, the perception of American power is a kaleidoscope of contradictions. For some, it remains a beacon of hope, a symbol of opportunity and a vital defender of the international order. For others, it is the face of a new empire, a force of cultural and economic homogenization that disregards local sovereignty and tradition. This mixed legacy is the enduring result of a foreign policy that has simultaneously liberated and subjugated, built and destroyed. The world watches, its judgment fragmented and its future intertwined with the decisions made in the halls of American power. The final shot returns to the minimalist ink sketches. A single drop of black ink falls into clear water, slowly and beautifully clouding the entire frame until it is opaque. A final line of text appears. Text overlay. Understanding the complex legacy of influence.